Hi, Dave. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you again. Hope everything's going well for you. Oh, thanks for the support, Dave. Yeah, it's going good. Got a lot of stuff going on right now, so pretty busy. But I'll get a break next weekend from live streaming, but that's just because I have to work all weekend. So, so yeah, things are going along, but yeah, they're going okay. I can't complain. Hey Rudy, welcome. Good to see you again. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not giving you a present, but it is something new, so I hope y'all enjoy it. I don't know if anybody's played the game yet, or played the demo, or not yet, so it's been out for a bit. Welcome, everyone, to today's live stream, a special one-off live stream of our Solasta 2 demo gameplay. I'm Commander Jarval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on admin notes for the channel, I announced this yesterday. This game has a demo where it's just going to be a one-day only playthrough. We should make it through the demo in 3 hours today. It should take somewhere around 2.5, I think, give or take, on how much I talk about some of the explanations in it. But today, one way or another, even if we have to go a little long today, we're going to finish the playthrough of the demo. So it's a one-off kind of dive into the playable demo of this game. Next week and this time slot, we will not have a live stream. We're taking a break before we start our next live stream series, and there will be a post put up about that coming up this week. So pay attention to the post tab and my social media, and you'll learn more about what we're going to be doing in this time slot moving forward from now. So for now, just sit back and enjoy kind of a one-off today of a playthrough of the demo, and then here in a couple of weeks we'll get into a new live stream series that we're going to start in this time slot. I am thinking about starting up a third live stream again on Wednesdays. It would be evening for me, so I know for my overseas viewers that's not convenient. But I do have a job, which means I can't do it until I get home from work. And I'm going to kind of see how this demo is received and what everybody thinks about it to decide whether or not I'm going to open up that third live stream during the week or not. So if we do it, it would be playing the first game in this series, Solasta Crown of the Magister. But we're going to talk more about that once we get into it. So I think that's it on the admin notes. So let's get into a bit of explanation and a bit of preview about what we're looking at here. So Solasta 2 is an upcoming turn-based RPG game based on the Wizards of the Coast Dungeons & Dragons 5e rule set. So if you're familiar with the mechanics of what we saw in any of the Baldur's Gate 3 playthroughs, you're going to see those same mechanics here, except those mechanics are going to be dialed up to 1,000 when it comes to following the rule sets. Tactical Adventures has made it a focus of theirs in their gameplay to remain faithful as possible to the written rule sets. Whereas we all noted, those of us who have tabletop experience noted very quickly the differences in Baldur's Gate 3. The Tactical Adventures games all adhere to those rule sets letter by letter as much as they possibly can. Now there are limitations, obviously, in how that goes, especially when it comes to some of the spell effects and that sort of stuff, because we don't have a dungeon master who's able to take unique and interesting ways of applying stuff and make rulings about it. But What's interesting here is that even though Tactical Adventures has made that a mission of theirs, they still have input some of the more popular homebrew rule sets. And by homebrew, that's a technical term that tabletop users mean for things that a particular DM comes up with on their own that don't necessarily adhere to the rule set. They are their own set of rules that are in place on top of the core rules. And that plays the same as any other rule set addition, like Xanathar's Guide, or things like that, or Tasha's Cauldron, that they're things that the Dungeon Masters put on top of it that modify the way the game works in a way that may make it more fun or more interesting or just different than the core rule set. And you're going to see more about that as we go through the game. So Solasta 2 is a follow-up, a sequel to a game that was released in 2021 called Solasta Crown of the Magister. Now that game is still out on Steam. You can buy it with the add-ons / DLCs to it as well. And this kind of picks up some of the characters and that sort of stuff from the previous one. From what I understand, it doesn't it's a new adventure, so it doesn't necessarily follow directly on from the previous one. Much the same way as Baldur's Gate was an entirely new adventure set in that realm. This is the same thing, with some of the same characters as the previous one, just like Baldur's Gate 3 was. So right now the game does not have a published release date. We have known from the YouTube videos and the live streams and the news on their website that there is going to be an early access period put out for the game. We're expecting that that's going to be sometime around the end of the year, for people to play a more in-depth early access version that would include character creation and that sort of stuff. But we do not know a full release date. You can go sign up for updates on their website. You will get access to, they'll send you a gift package, quote unquote, that has access to some 4K wallpapers and even an old school PDF version of a character sheet like we would have in tabletop, which was really interesting for me to see. But what they've done is they've released a playable demo. Now, they make it very clear when you start the game up that this is a demo. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, this is pre-alpha. So this is a way to generate interest, and I'm sure funding from other outside sources, to put into the game to help finish it, and when it comes out to have a set player base that's ready to play it. So they let you know that there are issues with the game. There are things that might not work right. There are things that can cause crashes in the game and that sort of stuff. I've experienced a few of those. I've played through this demo 3 or 4 times now, I think. And I've experienced a couple of them, but honestly not that many for a pre-alpha. So it's pretty good. And it's a good explanation of what you're going to be getting into as kind of a tutorial thing. This is not a tutorial, though. I want to make that very clear. Your characters are preset. So you don't roll characters or anything like that, and your characters are already leveled up to level 3, I think, in this one. So you're not going to go through a level up process. You're not going to get enough XP during this to do level ups or anything like that. They're going to have pre-chosen abilities, pre-chosen spells, subclasses, all of that sort of stuff. So it's not a tutorial about the characters and that sort of stuff. It's more a tutorial of here's how to play, and here's some specific highlights of what each character might be able to do or what you might want to focus on. But it's really just a snapshot of here's what the game is so far. Let us know what you think. And there is a feedback form for it online. So if you do play this and you have feedback, I've already put a few things on there that I would like to see done a little different, or just added from a convenience aspect. So they do take your input, so feel free to give that during your time if you're going to do a playthrough. The last thing that I want to mention is kind of a tabletop nerd thing. The Wizards of the Coast D&D 5e rule set was released in 2014, I believe. So it's been a while. Now, there have been expansions, like I say, with Xanathar's Guide and Tasha's Cauldron, where there are rule set expansions that have gone on top of that, which have changed how character creation works, character abilities, spells, monsters, all that sort of stuff. But Wizards of the Coast has now gone through a major update to 5e, what we call 2024 5e or 5e 2024. And they've changed quite a few things about how some of the basic things in the game use or in tabletop worked. It's gotten mixed reviews, but for the most part, mostly positive. But there are some changes that old school D&D players go, it makes you scratch your head a little bit. Tactical Adventures has announced that they are going to be changing the game to follow the 2024 5e rule set. So what you see here in this demo is not necessarily what you're going to see in the final game as far as how subclasses work and what selections there have been made for subclasses and how some races work, which are no longer called races, they're called species in the 2024 5e rule set. So what you see here is going to be changed and updated. They've announced that, they've talked about that on a live stream. There's a YouTube video up explaining a little bit more about it. So don't think that this is 100% set in stone because, one, it's pre-alpha, and two, they've made a major update in how the rule set is going to be followed. So just keep that in mind while we're going through it. So as far as settings go, just to quickly go through these in the gameplay, tutorial, we're going to leave the tutorials on just for this demo. We won't be showing tutorials in the full release because I'm your tutorial. There is a helpful dice section here. This is very similar to what you saw in Baldur's Gate 3, where the dice rolls are a little bit, they're weighted a little bit in your favor. I always turn that off. I don't believe in it. I don't, criticize other people from doing it, but there is an option to be able to do that here. Your combat saves, when you save or before the combat starts and after the combat starts, an autosave will happen. And if you have autosaves turned on, it will tell you how many minutes it's going to do. It's going to save an autosave and what the maximum is before it starts overwriting them. I'm opting for analytics here. It's going to send anonymized information back to Tactical Adventures to let them collect better information about how people are using their game. As far as controls, there's not a whole lot yet. This is something that they have said they're going to be expanding on to do custom layouts or custom key binds for certain things in the game. One of the things you're going to find out very, very quickly, and it annoys the living crap out of me, is how the camera turns and the keys that it utilizes to do that. And they've assured us that you're going to be able to do custom controls to change things like that later on. It's just not implemented here. For your video, I've got my auto set automatically sets everything to epic on this. So you're going to see the best resolution that we have at 4K. I'm not streaming at 4K just because my internet doesn't support it. But it seems to be, even with my video card setup, which is a 3080 Ti, that it's still able to do epic graphics on all of these. It's very similar to Baldur's Gate 3 in that it's not a whole lot of intense video rendering, so to speak. But you'll kind of see that more, some basics of interface and audio and your dice. Now, there have been discussions about customizable dice, that you will get to choose which one you want. And they have mentioned that they are thinking, because of the popularity of how it was in Baldur's Gate 3, customizable dice that you get due to various achievements or things that you do in the game. I leave all of the dice rolls on just because I am a tabletop nerd, so I love seeing all of those and knowing how horribly I rolled, because you're going, again, you're going to see it. If you're not familiar with my Baldur's Gate 3 playthroughs, just know that those are coming. So let's go ahead and start the demo, and we'll kind of talk a little bit about some of it as we go.
Finally, this is it. Torwen.
Can't wait to see Ellie again.
I'm curious about the giant statue she told us about.
Gods! She wasn't lying about the mana flows everywhere.
Okay, so here is your first introduction to the game, and your interface should be fairly intuitive. There haven't been any discussions that I've seen about being able to customize the interface, about moving things around on the interface or that sort of stuff, but the icons are all pretty straightforward. Okay, your party members are all listed up here, and you can swap between any of them just by clicking on their portraits or by hitting the tab key. Okay, so very straightforward. The thing that's also nice about it is as you hover over them, you're going to be able to see some basic stats in the upper right hand corner, and if you press Alt, you're going to see some more stats about it, most specifically some conditions and things like that they are either immune to, or things that you're going to have advantage or disadvantage on, various things because of what was still in this game at a 5e racial quality. But then being able to also see down here some of the basics. You can see we're just past level 3. We have an armor class of 21, which is obviously pretty good. And we have our total hit points down here. We have our weapon configuration. Now, this is something that they homebrewed in that you can change your active wielded configuration as a free action. That means you can do that as often as you want during a turn. That is not the case in regular 5e rules, but it is going to be the case to a limited extent in 2024 5e. You're going to be allowed to equip a single weapon or unequip that single weapon as a free action in a turn. So you can swap out a weapon once in your turn as a free action. You also have access to your inventory down here. This is your light meter. It's also a way for you to toggle on and off your light source. You'll learn more about that later, but this is letting you know that we're all in full sunlight down here. There's a combat log. There are discussions about making this phase in and out, or fade in and out, and have it transparent over here for people who want to leave a log open. There are also statuses that will list all their status effects if they gain any, so you can quickly see what your party configuration is entirely like. And it lists all the dialogue here as well, which is a really, really nice feature. I wish they had that everywhere in Baldur's Gate 3 when I was playing it, but they do have it here. Now, up here you see two more sets of icons. The first is direct control versus pointer control. Pointer control, or mouse control, is where you click, the character's going to walk to it. And they're going to stay in a diamond formation when they do it. Direct control means that you use your mouse, or you use your arrow keys to maneuver your characters around. I really don't like that, but some people do, especially when you're kind of walking around and you want to micromanage the movement of them. You have that capability. Here is your party group, so this allows you to control your party altogether or split your party, and now your party remains in place while whichever character you want to move, you can move. So you can pre-position them around various locales, and then when you group them back up, they resume a formation based around whichever is the current character. So your mini-map is fairly straightforward, and the current tracked quest here as well, and the icon that is associated with it. The quests are going to have different icons, which is very, very nice. Being able to quickly differentiate between any of your tracked quests, and you can track up to 3 at a time, and knowing exactly where each one's going on the mini-map. The mini-map is pretty expansive, and you're going to see that more as we go. Up here, we have a game menu. It lets you save and load, basically. And then here we have quick buttons to get you to various things. So your quest log, your inventory, and your local map, which is the full map here. Okay, and we're going to talk more about this as we go. And then this is your short rests. Now, short rests and long rests follow the 5e rule set pretty closely, actually. Short rests you can take anytime you want, and they work differently than short rests in Baldur's Gate 3 did, because those were more homebrew short rests. The long rests you can only access at campsites or setting up a campsite, and those work entirely differently again from how long rests worked in Baldur's Gate 3. They're much more rule set based, but this allows you to trigger your short rest. You can't trigger a long rest whenever you feel like it. Like I say, you have to make a camp or an inn or something like that to be able to do it. Down here at the bottom, you have your actions tab. Now, different characters have different actions, and you can see that you have favorites. So you are able to favorite some actions to pop them out to the side on a favorites tab. Okay, we're going to be going through more of these, but this is your main attack weapon, or whatever type of weapon it is. That icon's going to change to illustrate what it is. You have a spell, which is going to pull up your spell book list of everything that you have prepared and are able to cast. Here we have paladin powers, but here we have some fighter actions or some sorcerer powers and things like that. So it's going to change based on your class, but this is things like lay on hands, neutralize poison, cure disease, and blinding castigation, things like that. And then you're going to have a use device, and this is going to bring up items that you have equipped, such as being able to drink potions of healing, which again is a main action. You can see on the right about how to activate it, or throw items that you have equipped and that sort of stuff. And then we have the start cautious mode. This is your sneak mode. It operates somewhat similarly, but we're going to see more of this a little bit later on. Okay. Now, your camera can be moved. Okay. Same controls as Baldur's Gate 3 for the cameras. You can rotate your cameras. However, these are reversed from Baldur's Gate 3. So you're going to see me turning the camera the wrong way all of the time during this demo. Sorry, it just is what it is. So let's go ahead and start making our way into here, and we're going to get our first kind of introduction to how the game works a bit farther up here. Okay, we have our paladin up front. So our paladin, if we look at the stat breakdown here, they have a 12 wisdom, which is a +1. If we scroll to our cleric, they have a +2 in wisdom. And again, wisdom is based up, is what your skills are going to be based off of. And for instance, if you're doing a nature check or something like that, then you can tell that she's going to have +1. If we're doing an insight check, she has +4, a perception check of +2. Okay, and remember that if you look at those same things on your fighter here, the perception check is only +1. This is good. I'm pointing this out for a specific reason, because this operates differently than what Baldur's Gate did. Okay, so there's an option here for us to observe this. I'm going to click on this with my paladin.
What happened here?
I hope that's not Ellie's home. Otherwise, we're sleeping in a tent.
Acid. Looks like the work of a black dragon.
Okay, so I clicked on it with my paladin, but Joralis, my sorcerer, rolled an intelligence nature ability check against a DC of 12. Okay? What the game will do is it doesn't matter who, for the most part, there are some exceptions to this, whoever is best suited to deal with the ability check is the character that's going to roll for it. Okay? So you're not going to be at a disadvantage by clicking on something or doing something because of the character that you currently have noted as the party leader. The game is automatically going to pick the best person for that, and they're going to use them for it for a passive check, which is what this is. For a semi-active check, I should say. There are passive checks where you're just walking around the environment and that passive check will happen, and again, it will pick the best character for it. Now, there are active checks, mostly during conversations and things like that, where it will show all of the characters in a list, and those characters may have different dialogue options, and one of them may have a deception check. One of them may have a persuasion check. One of them may have an intimidation check. And then somebody else may have an intimidation check that has a different role associated with it, but maybe they've got advantage on it. Okay? So it's going to list different options for you to pick and give you the ability to better pass these roles, irrelevant of who is the party leader at the time, which is a really nice feature. It's something that's more homebrew. Tabletop probably wouldn't allow that. You would be picking who's going to be making those checks. But it is a really nice gameplay feature to have. So as we move into the town here, we're going to get our first new objective. Okay, and if we hit J to bring up our quest journal, we can see that we just picked up the Combers looking for business. Now the Combers are part of a faction, and you have reputation with that faction. Very similar to the reputation that we kind of saw on an individual basis in Baldur's Gate 3. You have it here with a faction. So the Argad Republic, we already have a +40 reputation, so they're sympathetic to us. The Combers, they're indifferent to us, and they'll remain neutral if they see us, but it will give you the benefits that go along with that, and those can be very, very useful, and you're going to see a little bit more about that a little bit later on. But now we've got 2 quest icons that are on our map, and we'll be able to delve more into that as we go here. So the other thing that you're going to see is if you look at the mini-map, you can see we now start having some icons here. These blue icons are characters that you can speak and interact with, okay? Meaning that they have dialogue, that you can speak and choose different dialogue options. There are characters in here that you can interact with, they just don't have dialogue choices. And for those, you need to either move your mouse around and see if anybody highlights, or you can hold left alt. And you can see what happens when I hold left alt, see my characters highlight. Very similar to left alt in Baldur's Gate 3. So as you're moving around, periodically hold left alt, and you can see chests, doors, and people. Anything that you can interact with to get some sort of option is going to show up in left alt. So we'll open this chest here. We'll be able to loot our first things, and we have a food ration. Okay, now food rations are what allow you to take long rests. Everybody has to have a food ration to be able to take a long rest. Now, all those food rations don't have to be split up amongst the individual people. One person can have all of them, and everyone will divvy them up and be able to use it during a long rest as long as there's one per person. Okay? Kev's, good question. Will this be on PS5? I haven't looked, honestly, to see. My assumption is that it would be, but I haven't gone through the game itself to see. What I would encourage you to do is search for Solasta 2 online, and you'll get a link to the Tactical Adventures website for the game, and you can see. I just honestly haven't looked at it since I don't play on console. So I apologize, I don't know the answer, but hopefully if you go there, you'll be able to find it. So you're also going to have valuables, like polished coral here, and then we've got some throwing daggers. These are simple ranged weapons, and you can select a different character. You can see what their encumbrance is, which is really nice, and know that I want the throwing daggers to go onto that character, and you'll see it change. That's a really, really good feature to know how close to being encumbered they are. Encumbrance works a little differently. This is 5e rule set specific here. 3 different levels. There were in Baldur's Gate 3 as well, but they have different disabilities, I guess, that go along with being encumbered. And you'll see more of that here in a little bit. So holding left alt, we have a doorway here. And we have somebody we can talk with.
Hello, adventurers.
And there's a new tutorial about merchants here. So gold, just like in Baldur's Gate 3, is shared within your party. So if there is no one person holding all of your gold, which is good. Item prices depend on your party's relationship with the merchant's faction. Okay, they do not change. They are not character-specific changes, meaning your charisma stat doesn't have an effect on their prices. It's based upon your relationship status with that faction. Okay, which is also kind of nice in that you can't really game the system by having someone super buffed up on charisma that's getting prices for everybody in the party. But it's also more of a, you don't have somebody in your party who's super buffed up on charisma to get it. You have to work to increase the relationship of your party with a faction to be able to get things. And here you can see what sympathy gets us. It gets us a 10% discount on all of the items here. So purchasing and selling is all very easy. Nothing really to know about those, but there is something else here. You can buy it back at the same price. This is a very good game mechanic. I like this. Where if you accidentally sell something by clicking on it, you can go to the buyback tab here and buy it back at the same price. Now, if you leave and come back, that's no longer there. Okay, which is nice. It gives you kind of an incentive to get things right, but at the same time, it doesn't punish you for doing it. Okay, so again, food rations, potions of healing, arrows. We have ammunition in this game, which is again a 5e rule set thing. So you need to be prepared to watch your ammunition usage in the game. And also valuables. Okay, so it tells you there are ingredients, things that you can probably use for crafting and or certain types of spells, and you'll kind of learn more about that later. And then you have things that you can just sell. So right now we know that we can sell polished coral. I'm just going to double click on it and sell it. Okay, it's as simple as that. You can switch between your party members and sell whatever you would like out of them just by double clicking on it, and be fine. You can also sort them, and again, there's our buyback. Okay, we sold it for 10, we can buy it back for 10. Okay, so selling, fairly straightforward. Okay, and you can see the icon. There's a hand with some gold in it. That indicates that's a merchant, and it's also somebody you can talk to. Okay, so now as we kind of move around the outskirts here, you're going to see another item, or the quest here, and that's for Kelmanodro.
What's the starting bid for this unit?
Everything all right?
Oh no, I've heard no news from a friend who's supposed to be delivering me some goods. Plus, no one's buying anything from me. Not even you. Or are you?
You're right. We're not buying.
Don't listen to our brother. He doesn't decide for all of us.
Ugh.
And that's going to complete that quest. Now, this is obviously a beginning portion of a quest. We've been introduced to the Combers faction, and the quest log said, hey, she's not good, business is not good, could have anything to do with the recent troubles. So probably at some point in the future, if you do something that reduce those troubles, you would then get a reputation increase and be able to buy things from her. Now, we can't go this way. There are a couple of characters over here on this side, but we can't reach them, so we're going to have to go around this way.
Good thing none of us are afraid of heights.
Someone's pointing fingers. How rude.
And again, party leader here I've already talked about. The party leader choice does not affect how the game plays. It's just the character that you control. If one party member gets into something, meaning a dialogue or combat, the whole party's always involved. This is a major change from what was in Baldur's Gate 3, which was honestly a bit of an exploit, where you could have one character go up and have a conversation with somebody, get that character into conversation, and the other characters who were not involved in it were free to do whatever they want with time stopped, basically. Or you could go up and start combat with one character, and that character would be the only one in combat, and the others were free to maneuver as long as they weren't seen or detected. That is not how this game works. I said during Baldur's Gate 3, no tabletop DM would allow that to happen, or they would allow it to happen only under very specific circumstances with very specific limitations. Here, once somebody gets involved, everybody is always involved. Okay, and up here we have our main quest marker, and that's for Ellie up here.
Oh, Chibori, where are you? You should be here by now. Hope it ain't that stupid dragon again.
Hey, Ellie. Are you okay?
Oh, bless my furry feet. Fancy seeing you here. Welcome to Torwen.
Okay, now you saw a purely passive ability check there. That's the one of the 3 different types of, or 4 different types, I should say, of ability checks. A passive insight check was made. Whoever passed that check, the dialogue is going to be next to their name. Now, insight is a wisdom check. We saw that when I was talking about her earlier. So she's the one that had the best chance of success. She did pass it, so now her character icon has the results of that here.
What's the problem? You look worried. You know you can tell us anything.
I've got a bad feeling. Something's gone terribly wrong and I'm not allowed to do anything. Mayor Badnotch restricted everybody's movements. I feel like a naughty child who's been grounded. They did what? I know. It's embarrassing. I'm not allowed to leave the village, except to go fishing. The mayor says it's not safe. Always overreacting.
Who's this Jabori you're so worried about?
Oh, he's an old sickless. Lives down bottom of the cliffs in a little house. Likes to pretend he's younger than his years. Doesn't fool me. Must be well over 300 years old. He comes by every day to sell fish, pearls, and seashells. Or just to say hi, but I haven't heard from him for too long. Something's wrong.
Have you checked his house?
Wish I could, but it's not that easy right now.
What was that you were saying about dragons?
Oh, there's a big old dragon comes down this way every year to nest. Mostly leaves us alone if we leave it be, but it takes half our pearl harvest for the trouble. Reckon it likes the fish and crabs down in these parts too. It's been acting fierce peculiar of late. Don't know why.
That sounds really dangerous.
It is. We're used to it, but still, it could wipe us all out if it wanted to.
We saw some ruined houses on our way up here. What happened?
Oh, that. We've been getting lots of earth tremors, and had a visit from the dragon.
So the dragon attacked the village. Sounds like things are much worse than you said.
And what do you think is causing the tremors?
We think it might be the dragon, digging around in the cliffs beneath Torwen. There's been a lot of shakes and plenty of strange noises too. Things really aren't good. I wish I could have given you a better welcome to my home.
Okay, and now you see an active check here. This is a choice that we can make. At this point, only our paladin is given an option to make this choice. They have the best chance, because of their high charisma stat, to be able to pass this. But you'll see that in other instances, some other characters might have other choices to be able to follow. But here, you can see we're getting a +4, and it gives you an approximate percentage. This is kind of nice for non-tabletop nerds like myself, who don't know a lot of these numbers in our heads. Looking around at it, it gives you a roundabout percent chance of how well you're going to do. 25% still there, though.
We could check on Jabori for you. Try to find out what's going on with this dragon, too.
Oh, that'd be great. I would have gone myself, but, well, you know. Oh, I guess I should mention, we've got a bunch of kobolds nesting nearby too. They worship the dragon, but so far, they've never come close to the village. Considering everything else, well, best keep an eye out for the nasty little critters. They can bite.
Good to know. Thanks for the warning.
Anything else we should know about Torwen?
Well, don't you fall down the cliffs. Before you go, you can meet the mayor if you like. Actually, it'd be nice if she knew that I invited you. I mean, especially if you can help us.
Sure. Well, we'll see you later, Ellie. Stay safe.
Okay, and we got a new quest here. So, the Hearth, again, a faction that we haven't seen yet, for the Sickless. Okay, and that opened up our third quest, the second one that we have tracked because we completed the previous one here, which is basically solve Torwen's problems. So, it's a very generic type of thing, but it does list all the discoveries, very similar to what we've seen in other RPG games in the past. So now looking at your map, looking at the icons that are up here, you can see there's something we can harvest up here. And that's a blue carnation. And again, we've seen those for sale. They're ingredients. You can't use any of those for anything yet. But you'll find out more about them later. This coloration should seem familiar from other games. It lets you know that there's a path here that you can use. Now, this is a one-way path. There's no way to climb back up it, but if I click down here, that's a pathway you can use without taking any damage. Okay. So we'll continue on around here, and we're going to look off to the left here. And now we get to ability checks. And this is the tutorial. So we already learned about this ability check. and what a D20 is and how modifiers used and that sort of stuff. But advantage, we should know about from other RPGs. If you have advantage, you roll 2 dice, you keep the highest one. If you have disadvantage, you roll 2 dice, you keep the lowest one. Here you go. Rolling 1 is always a failure, and rolling 20 is always a success. Now, this is what it was in Baldur's Gate 3 as well. That's a homebrew thing. That is not in 5e. It is extremely popular in homebrew, that you override that rule. But there is going to be, and it's something they talked about in their live streams, the ability to turn this off so that you can play by the strict interpretation of the rules, where if you roll a 1, you add your ability modifier to it, and if that's higher than the DC, you still pass. Same thing with a 20. If you roll a 20 and you add your ability modifier and that's still not high enough to pass the DC, then you don't pass it. So 1's not always a failure and 20's not always a success. But you should be able to toggle that on and off in the full version when it comes out. We already looked at the ability modifiers under skills. We should be familiar with those as well. And then we get into group checks. And this is the 4th type of ability check that you get into. You have passive, you have semi-passive or semi-active, you have active, and you have group checks. Group checks, your entire party rolls an ability check. And if at least 50% of your party passes it, then the whole party passes it. Okay? That it happens a lot for things like perception checks that happen in the background, for things that affect the entire party, like earthquakes and things like that that happen. If 2 of your people might pass it, then everybody's going to pass it. You're not going to see part of your party fall down if it's labeled as a group check. So this is something new that you haven't seen before, but it is definitely in the rule set. Okay, so we're going to go in here, and we're going to see our first thing that says lockpick here. Okay, and you saw the check happen in the background. Okay, we're going to keep that in mind. Daisy was my active character. She's the one that rolled the check, and she passed it. Okay, so she's got a potion of greater healing, which I'm going to put here. And we have a historic fort map. And then back here, we have just a regular chest we can open. And some more food rations. And we have a brooch of the fleet. Okay, a small magical item belonging to Kyre's Swift Hands. And this gives you a plus 1d4 to initiative. Now, plus 1d4 to initiative is really nice. And we're going to give that to our paladin. Somebody who we want to roll fast in initiative, and especially since they have a -1 to initiative rolls, this is going to help offset that. Okay, so again, holding left alt, we have an observation we can make.
This fort looks very Manichaean.
That would mean it's thousands of years old.
There's no doubt. The style here is typical of the second expansion.
Show off.
Okay, so he has a paladin. His skill set, he must have chosen proficiency in history, so that's why the game chose him to roll that check. And we're going to go around the corner, and there's me turning the camera the wrong way. And you're going to get clues. He just said up there. Okay, now you don't click on ladders to use them, you click past them. That's something you're going to have to get used to. Is it will use those ladders to pathfind. You can see the white designation here, but you don't click on the ladder to go up it.
Almost there.
Okay, so I'm just going to harvest here. And then there's no jump action. Okay, jumping is done automatically here as part of the pathfinding. So you click over there and it will your character will automatically jump across. So really cool little cinematic there. They're obviously still working on some of the textures, especially the water. You can see where it had kind of a crosshatch pattern in it that they're obviously going to be working on and that sort of stuff. For pre-alpha though, it's a pretty good example of what the graphic engine can do.
You're impressively fit.
Okay, so again, I normally walk around holding left alt down. So that's why you're going to see my characters with their outlines quite a bit.
Nope.
Okay. And this is going to lead us up into another area up here. We want to go look at something else first. And that's down this way.
Whoa. And reminder to self. Never climb on these shonky structures again.
You'll get the hang of it.
Very funny.
Okay, so fishing notes is, again, just a valuable thing, but you can see it weighs 5 pounds. So we'll put it here, and we'll pick up the arrows here. Something we can harvest. You can see all these things on our mini-map.
Stinks. Whoa. Hold on to something. This can't be natural.
Okay, so we see that the earthquake, there are earthquakes that are dealing with the village. And now we're going to get a new objective. And this is the quest update to Where's Jabori to use the elevator down to the shore. We're going to come back and do that. And now we're going to go back up where we were. Okay, so we have a toolbox to use to repair the elevator. We have a fishing net, and we have some more fishing notes. And here we have Mevin Cliffraven. Now again, if you hold alt, left alt, you can see that you can interact with her, but she also shows up in our mini-map.
First the dragon, then the earthquakes, and now Kaya. I've got to get down there. Make sure he's okay. No, please don't. Think about the rest of us. If you go missing, what are we gonna do? Kaya's the most skillful person we know, isn't he? He's probably leading them out of there already. They'll be fine. But the mayor wants us to stay up here. She knows what she's doing.
Excuse us. We overheard you speak about someone named Kaya.
What?
We found this near the elevators.
You found Kaya's brooch?
Is he one of the missing fishermen?
Yes. And my best friend. He went looking for seashells with his crew. It's dangerous, but they've been doing it for years. It's all these tremors. I'm really getting worried.
We were planning on going down there anyway, so we'll check on him.
Oh, I'd be ever so grateful.
No problem.
Thank you, really. It means a lot.
Okay, so now we've got a new quest for the Lost Fisher Folk. Okay, and we're going to be following up on that here in a little bit.
This footbridge is very handy.
Whoa.
Again? Oh, no wonder the mood is so noxious around here.
Okay, we got a chest here we can open, and again, we have some books here. And now you can see we've got encumbrance. Specifically was trying to overload him so that we would find out about encumbrance. So you can see here that his weight, he now has minus 10 feet of movement per turn. That's what the first bar of encumbrance does, is it lowers your movement speed, or your movement distance. They call it movement speed in the rule sets, but it's movement distance. Once you get to the third bar, it limits it to minus 20 feet, and you now have disadvantage on things like strength checks and dexterity checks and stuff like that in the game. So it starts to have even more detrimental effects as you go. Now you can just right click on these and transfer these to other people as you go and remove that encumbrance that they have.
No, you move your caravan.
But I was here first.
My shop is right here. Your goods are going to the other side of the village.
I can't get my cart over the bridges. This is as close as I can get.
Well, I'm not moving my caravan.
Well, then neither am I.
I need more time to unload. That's all.
More time? I need my stuff unloaded too, mind you.
What's going on here?
Who's asking?
People who are thinking about burning down your damn caravans.
Did he pay you to say that?
I can speak for myself. Move!
You have no rights.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so here's an example of an active check that has different abilities that your different characters can use. Okay, so we have a persuasion check using charisma +4, but even in that case, it's still only a 45% chance. We have a charisma +1, but because of advantage, that ups the overall percentage chance of success, and we have a deception check. Now, these do have ramifications based upon the actual wording that you're using. So if you pick a side or you insult somebody, that may affect a faction reputation or something like that. I'm going to pick the best one here, which also happens to be the highest choice one, in that I'm not taking a side here and I'm not going against any of the factions. In this case, it doesn't really matter in the demo because it's these two vendors here are not enabled in the game yet.
We've come from the mayor's house. Even she complained about you.
I think she mentioned a fine.
She did. A big one.
See? We're both gonna get fined.
All right. All right. I don't want to lose any more coin than I already have. I'll move the caravan now.
Okay, and now this road is opened again. And hey, Ostamura, welcome. Good to see you again. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. So what this does is basically get you back around to this area and allows you to get into the place to sell items without having to go all the way down and around this like we did previously to get over here. It basically just opens up a shortcut for us, which is always nice. But then right here we have the mayor.
Well met, strangers. I am Mayor Rosie Badnot. What brings you to Torwen?
We are the Kobolds.
We're friends of Ellie Sharproof.
Is that so? So you're just coming for tea?
It seems the town has a couple of problems.
Nothing we can't deal with on our own.
Mind if we look around?
Just don't go trying to kill the dragon. Not that you'd have a chance.
Thanks for the advice, Mayor.
It's your honor, but as you're foreigners, I'll forgive your lack of manners.
Okay, so the mayor just seems a little bit unfriendly, and she doesn't think that we can do much to help.
Sure. Explore my house. I will check on my belongings later. No offense.
Okay, now there might be at some point a mechanism for theft and that sort of stuff. It's not implemented in the game yet, and taking this stuff from her house isn't going to affect reputation with her. So now on my lockpick here, remember I used Daisy last time. I'm going to click on this with my paladin. Okay, and you see my paladin rolled the dexterity check. Okay, this is one of those specific checks where the character actually does matter. When it comes to lockpicking, you should know better than to have somebody who's not a thief type try and lockpick something. Okay, but the good thing about it is that if one of your characters fails it, it doesn't break the lock or anything like that. It allows you to choose somebody else to do it. And in this one, we have a couple of spells. A Scroll of Shatter and a Scroll of Sleep, which is a really, really nice spell to have. Okay, and now we look at our map here. We've pretty much finished everything around here. Now, some of these icons, they said they're still working on these. They should all gray out to indicate that you've opened it. But these locked ones, they tend to not gray out even though you have opened them and emptied them out. And the ingredients don't gray out either. They said that's just something that they're working on to implement in the game. So you will see it later on. But we've gone through everything that we're able to up here. So we're going to head down here in a second. But before we do, let's go sell off some of this stuff that we're not going to need. Okay, so we're going to sell. We're going to get rid of all the ingredients. We're going to get rid of the fishing net. The toolbox, we need to keep for the elevator. So the historic fort map, the fishing notes, we don't need any of these. Okay, and then for purchasing, we now have 124 gold, so we're going to take some potions of healing here. Yeah. These are going to be very, very useful. You're definitely going to need them. And that's because combat in this game is kind of not what you're used to if you've played Baldur's Gate 3. Like I say, this game is much more focused on the true implementation of the rule set. So combat is going to be a little different. So we'll make our way down here to the elevator and we'll head down.
Hope none of you are afraid of heights.
These statues are as tall as the cliffs. Clearly, those who built this place really love themselves. All right, be ready for anything. I'm not here for sightseeing. Did you hear that?
So I haven't
Mother
seen...
is back from the dead.
And here we get an update to our quest. We're going to search along the shore. I haven't seen any problems with elevators. I've used that elevator, like I say, dozen times or so, and haven't seen anybody clip through it or anything like that, which is a good thing. So you're not going to be ending your adventure because of an elevator glitch. So here's a path that's both up and down. You can see we have a way to climb up and down, and that's how you differentiate between them.
Whoa! Everyone, look. Something massive. Swimming under the bridge.
Okay, so there's obviously some sort of sea creature here, Leviathan. And I do like those scenic overlooks. They've talked a little bit about those. They added a bunch of those in the demo just as kind of a playthrough enhancer, but there are going to be certain things like that that are going to give you clues to help you through puzzles and or give you information about quests and that sort of stuff. Now, I'm going to click inside of here and see what happens.
Looks abandoned.
We can probably take a quick look inside.
This has clearly not been used in a while.
The kobolds Ellie mentioned, maybe?
Okay,
I'm
so
such
there
an
was
idiot.
a passive
Those
wisdom
villagers
check
probably preferred letting them use
that
their
happened there.
fishing spot than having to
Nayra
fight.
was the best person to roll against it. She rolled a 3, so that failed against a DC 13. Okay, so again, one of those passive checks, but it picks the best person to roll it. Now, you saw that everybody came over here and they crawled underneath this. Okay, and at top it brings up the tutorial about encumbrance. We already talked about this. You get slowed by 10 feet, then you get slowed by 20 feet and have disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saves that use strength, dexterity, or constitution. And you can just swap things around by watching your encumbrance. Now here we have a longsword +1, which is really nice, and a shield of fortitude, which is a shield +1. Again, really nice. So we definitely want to swap these out. Okay. Okay, but if we just click out here, you can see that there's other ways in and out of these. Okay, so clicking inside, the characters are going to take the quickest route to get there to that location. So just kind of keep that in mind, that if you don't know how to get into something, just try and click inside of it and see if the characters find a way that you didn't see. Okay, so now here's another way down, a two-way way down here, or we can just jump down. And again, just click on the other side and let them jump across.
By all the gods!
Mind your heads. We have to find what's causing these quakes.
Okay, you see we have a way up here, but this way's one way down. We can't get up there yet.
Look at those crabs.
There's food for a week in one of those pincers.
There goes the free meal. Little cowards.
Okay, and now we're going to get our first introduction to combat. Okay, so moving around here.
Ew. They were eating a kobold.
Don't judge before you taste.
Remember, we learned that the kobolds are involved here as part of the quest, so this is an update to it, so we can search this kobold. And you see that there's a kobold chest key. and a throwable, an explosive pearl that does 3d6 damage. Okay, and that is going to be very, very useful for us in this encounter. And you also see a new icon on our map. You hold left alt, you don't see anything. If I move my mouse around down here, there it is. You don't see it when I'm holding left alt. Okay, and that's because it's hidden right now. It's underneath the ground, but you can highlight it and know that there's an enemy there. And the icon is telling us that it's below us right now. So we're going to continue exploring around. And you see we have some crab icons up here. So we're going to go into cautious mode. Now cautious mode, sneak mode, you see an outline that's your awareness outline. If an enemy gets into that, they're going to immediately detect you. Okay, now this outline is determined by an average of the entire party's stealth abilities all put together. If I break the party apart, you can see everybody's individual outline. So the paladins, because they're wearing heavy armor, is way out here. The fighters is a little bit farther in. And then we have our rogue here that has this real tiny one. And this is the sorcerer's outline. So now you can break your party apart and better use an individual character to sneak around or through certain areas that may be more stealthy than the others. For now, it doesn't really matter to us. We're gonna climb up here. And we're gonna make our way back here.
This is a peculiar house.
Not if you're a sickless, I suppose.
And we get a healing tutorial. So healing is done one of a few different ways, with either spells, abilities, potions, or short rest and or long rest. So healing spells, you'll cast them out of your ability bar. We'll see that. Nothing really different there. Healing powers, like the Paladin's Lay on Hands, can also be used. Healing potions, you can use it directly from your inventory, or you can equip it and use it as a main action through your utility slot. Either way, if you use it from your inventory, it's still going to use a main action. And then you have a short rest. Short rests are based around hit dice. For those of you who don't know what a hit dice is, a hit dice is a die that you roll to determine how many hit points you have at the start of your character creation and as you level up. So if you have a 1d8 here, the Constitution modifier is +2, and you level up, and you've got 28 hit points, you would roll a d8. If you roll a 1, you're going to get 1 hit point from the hit dice roll. You're going to get 2 here, and you're going to add 3 to 28, and your new level is going to be 31. That was not the case in Baldur's Gate 3. It gave you the maximum number of hit points, basically, for every hit die. So you got 8 plus your Constitution modifier every level. That's never how the 5e rule set has worked. And here, when you take a short rest, you now have to expend hit dice. So we're level 3, so we have 3 hit dice to roll, and you would roll 1, and that would tell you how many hit points you're going to get back. If you roll a 1, you get 1 hit point back. If you roll an 8, you get 8 back, plus your Constitution modifier. Okay? So you're not guaranteed to get half of your hit points back, or a set amount of your hit points back like you saw in Baldur's Gate 3. You have to make a roll, and you expend those hit dice. If you use all 3 of them in your first short rest, then your second short rest, you're not going to have any to get hit points back. Okay? So this is different. This is much more in tune with the rule set, and different than what you might expect. Okay, so we searched the chest. We picked up another explosive pearl. It was really nice. Now we're going to head in here. Okay, now we have
No one
a
home.
few things in here.
Didn't just stand Ellie up then.
I see no trace of violence yet.
Okay, so Jabori's not in his house. So some food rations. And another potion of greater healing. I'm going to put this on my fighter cleric. And a chest here that has a tablet. We have a dagger +1, which is nice.
Can anyone read that?
I thought you knew everything.
Once a brat, always a brat.
Give us a break, please.
Okay, and then I'm going to change over to Daisy and have her swap out her offhand for the dagger +1. There. Okay, and there's nothing else in here, but I'm going to split my party now. Okay, I'm going to put Nut up here. Nayra's going to be very similar. I'm going to move Duralis over here, and I'm going to go out here with Daisy. And we're going to get into combat here. And combat, like I say, is going to be different than what you expect. Okay, I've touched on a couple of things about it. But let's kind of look at something else here. So, we have an ambush. Okay? So, if we're unseen here, clicking the ambush button means that we're going to start the fight with, possibly with an advantage. Everybody's going to roll initiative. Everybody on the map is going to roll initiative. If you're surprised, surprise works just like it did in Baldur's Gate 3. You have to skip your turn at the beginning of it, and that's only going to apply to the enemies, and that's our advantage. Now, there are possibilities that the enemy will not be surprised. Okay? So, ambush is a little different in kind of how the whole surprise mechanic works. But if we change here, we can go to our short bow and, for instance, hover over this enemy here. Okay? If we make this attack, it's going to automatically trigger ambush. Right? So, and the attack might not land based upon the initiative roll. So, if you're going to try and ambush a group of enemies, then click the ambush button. It's just, it avoids having to do this and not make the attack, basically, because you're going to click the ambush, the game clicks the ambush button for you. But you're going to see a couple of things. So first, you see there's a plus sign next to the percentage. That means we have advantage on this attack. Okay, we have that because we're in hiding, and we're making that against an unaware enemy, which is going to be the exact same thing for making that attack from ambush. And then you see there's a white line that's very dim, that's going between us and the character. And you can see down right next to, look in this area here, you can see that there's a marker there. The game has a cover mechanic, just like tabletop does, where there is no cover, half cover, and full cover. And those give you different to-hit modifiers based upon how much cover the enemy has. Now, you can't just shoot through your own friends. If they're in between you and an enemy and you try and shoot an arrow past them, that friendly counts as cover for the enemy, just like it would in tabletop. So you have to maneuver yourself to be able to shoot around your friendly characters to improve your to-hit chance. Otherwise, it'd be like trying to shoot over their shoulder to hit an enemy that's past them. That is going to obviously be more difficult. So here, because we have advantage, even though this target is going to be in half cover because of this location, we still have a 75% chance to hit. Now, we're going to cancel out of this, and this explains the cover mechanic. Okay? So, a white line of sight line is going to appear. Anything that cuts that line of sight is going to include some sort of cover. If there's an obstacle, then they have full cover, and you can't target them at all, and no line of sight's going to appear. If they have partial cover or half cover or 3/4 cover, it tells you exactly what it gets. They get a +2 to AC and a +5 to AC, depending upon the cover type that they have. And you'll know that by the icon, whether it's half or more filled up for 3/4. Okay? If they have full cover, it's going to display an X over the enemy. You can't attack them at all. Okay? No cover is just a straight line. There's no icons anywhere on the attack line. They don't get any bonuses to them. Okay? Now, with yourself, when you move, it's going to tell you whether or not you have cover in that location. Okay? Then it's also going to tell you on the attack lines that show up what your enemies have if you move to that location you want to make an attack against them. So here I can move here and I'm going to have cover here, but this enemy is going to have full cover, this enemy is going to have half cover. Okay? But here, if I move, I'm not going to have any cover at all from any of them. Okay? And you would see an icon up here that would tell you if you have cover. So cover is in the game, so you need to... Placement becomes a much more critical thing for you in the game when you start making attacks. Okay? Now I'm going to move here just for instance, and you can see now that percentage is up to 84% because there's no cover indication anywhere on that line. Okay, so that's how cover works. We're not going to care about that very much for this particular one. Okay, so 58%, you can see it's 3/4 cover there. You see the icon is more filled up because now I'm shooting through the fence more. But if I move up here, I'm kind of shooting in between the two fences. So it's still full cover, or 3/4 cover there. And there it's down to half cover. Okay. So now from this spot, I'm going to trigger an ambush. Okay, so all the initiatives get rolled. That crab did not get surprised. Okay, and neither did that one. So you can see in your log, okay, they roll a wisdom, a perception check. If you fail it, you get surprised. If you pass it, you do not get surprised. Okay, so that's how this works when an ambush takes place. And you roll initiative, so you might not be first in the initiative order here. Okay? But also, all of your party members are now in combat. We just have some of them who are down here. I got a little unlucky here, and then now you can see if I move away. Oh, and movement is now different. There's a grid system. Okay? This is straight out of tabletop. It lets you count how many grids you're going to move based upon your movement speed that you have. So here, each one of these is 5. So I'll be able to move 5 grid points away from here in any direction. Now, if I move outside of it, this is my bonus action dash area, or my dash as a regular action if I'm not a rogue. That would allow me to double my movement and move out to here. And as soon as you click out here, it's going to say, confirm that you want to dash to do it. Okay. It also is telling you that there's you'll see an orange arrow here. That means that as soon as I move away, I'm going to incur an attack of opportunity because they got within that melee range of me. And that's what was unlucky about this, is that crab was able to get within melee range. So if I want to move away here, I'm going to have to bonus action disengage. Okay, I would prefer to bonus action dash and get all the way down to here and make my attack, but I can't do that without taking an attack of opportunity here. So I'm going to disengage. Okay, I'm going to move to here. And now I'm going to make my attack with a 60% chance to hit.
You should have yielded.
Ended up getting a hit there. Now you can see a couple of things that happen. So first, let's go... sorry. Okay, I was seeing how to get to... Yeah, the tutorials are here. So we learned about the new one is weapon presets. We already talked about them down here. You have two different ones, an active and an inactive, that you can change between them. In battle, you can switch at will between these two presets. It's free. You won't spend any action. It also tells you this is a homebrew thing. This is not part of the 5e rule set. This is really cool for us tabletop nerds. To let you know, as this thing progresses, that this particular thing here is not in the 5e rule set. Okay, and you're going to see that as on various different things that they change that are not in the rule set. You're going to see it, that it's listed as that. Okay, so we managed to get a kill there, but our turn is done. We can't dash. I would have preferred to get all the way down here because these enemies have some pretty intense movement speed with them. You can see it's 30 feet, so they can move 6 blocks, and they're all dashing if they can't get within attack range. So they can move 12 grid spaces to get to me, and that's going to let them get really close, and I may have to disengage again and all sorts of other stuff. So there are also enemies that are out here that are going to be doing the same thing. Okay, so Daisy's turn is done. So Nayra's turn. Now, it looks like we can only move here and it's not going to let us move here. That is true to a certain extent. However, there is no character model blocking for movement. Well, I take that back. There's very limited character model blocking in this game. So if I move here and I want to move my paladin around, I can still move around. They will use this space to move here and then move back, or they'll just move straight through. Enemies will tend to use these open areas to bypass your character. So don't think that by moving somebody up here, I'm blocking off the passageway, so to speak, because there's still room for them to get around me. Now, there are certain things like doorways where I might be able to block that off entirely, but in this one, don't think that you can. So all I'm going to do here is move my fighter cleric up here a little bit, and I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on my paladin. Why is my target not sensed? Is it because he's still in hiding? That would be weird. Well, I've got time. It's a bonus action anyway, so I'm going to move my paladin up here to the front. Okay, he's got a 22 armor class, which is pretty good. So I'm going to move him up to the front to hopefully try and tank damage. Okay, and now for my sorcerer, I'm just going to leave them here kind of out of the line of sight a little bit. They're probably dashed. Still not within melee range, which is great, because now I can move back, and I can use my bonus action cunning action dash. And I can move back here. And you can see I'm gonna, as I move, if I'm here, there's cover. He's gonna be in cover. 3/4 cover to the enemy on the right and half cover to the enemy on the left. If I move here, I can't attack the enemy on the right, but the enemy on the left is gonna have no cover. So my attack chance is gonna be higher. Okay, so I'm gonna move down here. I'm gonna get my attack off. Okay, and I missed. So now I'm gonna continue moving back. Now there was something here that you saw in the previous attack. Right here. So, got 10 piercing damage. She rolled a 6. On her d6 roll, she has +4 from her dexterity. And then she got 4 additional damage here from another d6 roll for Serrated Edge. Now, Serrated Edge is, again, we didn't get to pick our character and how they're going. But right now, her subclass is the Scavenger archetype, which gets Serrated Edge. And Serrated Edge gives you once per turn when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you deal an additional 1d6 slashing damage to the target. Okay, so you're going to see some extra things that we're not really going to go into a whole lot about the subclasses here and all that sort of stuff, but just realize that your characters at level 3 have their subclasses already. And you can see what those are. The Oath of Liberation, that's a new one. That was not in Baldur's Gate 3, but all of these things you're going to kind of get access to. So if you don't know much about tabletop, make sure you look through those a little bit before you start getting into combat. Okay, so now I'm going to use my main action here to cast, oops, my bonus action, sorry, to cast Shield of Fate. That's going to give me an additional 2 armor class, which we'll see here in a second on Nut, as long as I maintain my concentration. And there he is. Now he's up to a 24 armor class. Okay, nothing that he wants to do for now. I'm going to wait until next turn to trigger something on a bonus action for him. Okay, and Juralis, I'm going to move out here. And I'm going to have him equip an Explosive Pearl as his throwing item. And it's got a 10-foot radius for damage. Okay. So we did some good damage against the Clacker, a little bit of damage against the Digger. And now I'm going to move him kind of back here around the corner again. Get him some cover. Okay, so now Daisy's going to disengage again, because you can see she'd get an attack of opportunity. And you can see kind of how the movement works. So she can move in that space over there to bypass, but I'm going to disengage. So I'm going to move back here. And now, again, look at the map. See, I'm shooting through a friendly character, which means they get half cover because of that. So if I move over here, again, half cover. If I move here, again, half cover. So there's nowhere that I can go where I'm not going to have at least some cover given to the enemy here. So I'm going to go ahead and make my attack here, 40%. And I did hit. And again, got that extra one from Serrated Edge. Okay, now I can make an attack here If I do want to change to ranged, it's half cover here. But I can try other things. We do have the Sacred Flame cantrip here. Again, only a 40% chance to hit. Okay, and he's saved. And I'm going to move Nayra back, and there's a reason for that. Okay, and Nut, I'm going to move up. I'm going to use a bonus action to cast Divine Favor. That's going to give me an additional 1d4 radiant damage to my weapon attacks. And I'm going to make a 55% chance here. And I got a critical miss. Okay. Now again, you saw that it rolled a 7. It added the weapon modifiers to my attack roll in here. But again, because it was a 1, it was a critical failure. Now it's a 7 that got rolled. The armor class is 16, so it would have been a failure anyway. But homebrew rule to make a 1 an automatic failure, what means I didn't have a chance anyway. Now the Scrappers have a unique ability. Okay, now here, I'm going to move, see here you can see the lines. The line on the left is attacking the digger here, and if I move here, there's no cover. If I move here, there's no cover either attacking him. So I'm going to move here. I'm going to try the Firebolt cantrip. And I got a crit.
Die!
Nice. So rolled my first nat 20 right after I rolled my first nat 1 in combat. So really nice. Okay, so here's an attack of opportunity. So I'm going to take the attack. And I missed. And this is why I moved back. Because he has an AoE attack. Okay, so I'm going to move Daisy back here. And I still won't get any sneak attack on this because he's not close enough. So... Okay, so I did get a big damaging attack. Okay, and he saved on it. So let's move Nut back here close. See if he can end this. Okay, so I hit him. So now I have a chance to use my Divine Smite if I would like to. I'm not going to though. I've got Divine Favor and a 1d8 on my longsword, and he has 6 hit points, so I have a 60% chance that without Divine Smite, I'm going to kill him. And I
Told
did.
ya, you could do this.
Okay.
You're not Dad, remember?
So now the Scrappers have something else going for them. So I'm going to move Nut back here a little bit. Okay, and then for Juralis, again, if I move out here, I could move here, but he would still have half cover, and that's because of the bodies out there. So either way, he's going to have half cover no matter where I go.
You'll
And he
die
missed.
anyway.
Okay, so with Daisy, I think all of these are going to be the exact same. Yep, going to have half cover at all of them. And I missed. I don't like the fact that it resets my camera every time that I click on a weapon action or a spell. That's something I mentioned to them, that I don't like that it does that. I prefer my camera, if I've got it turned to be able to view something, I don't want it to reset. Okay, so I'm going to move up here close. Okay, now with this, I'm going to do a Divine Smite.
I take no prisoners.
Perfect. Now this crab, you're going to see something, the scrapper of what it has available to it. So you can hold alt. You can see it's immune to prone, but it doesn't really give you a whole bunch more information about it. You can't right click on them or anything like that to gather more information, which I think is a good thing. That whole character sheet and everything that used to pop up in Baldur's Gate 3 was like something out of the monster manual. And it was kind of OP. But see, they have a ranged attack. And I like the fact that your attacks kind of do, like, go past an enemy to indicate that you missed. And the Sacred Flame cantrip, crap as always if you were part of the Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. Okay, so I'm going to move up here, give him disadvantage on the ranged attack, and make him incur an attack of opportunity if he tries to move away. Okay, so I'm not going to Divine Smite this. Okay, he's got 1 hit point left. And he missed. He still rolled really well. He rolled a 14 with disadvantage. That's pretty good. But he did move away, which gives me an opportunity attack. And I hit, so I'm not going to use Divine Smite. And there we go.
Not too bad.
Okay. And you're going to get some icons up here that indicate status effects. If you hover over them, you'll be able to see what they are and what they mean. Okay, now your enemies here don't drop any loot on this one, but if they do drop a loot, you'll see a glowing orange icon on top of them to indicate that there's something you can go search. Okay, now down here, if you hold left alt, there is something down here. It's underwater though. We can't reach it yet. There is swimming in this game. You're going to learn more about it a little bit later. As far as diving goes though, even in tabletop, you normally need to have access to something else. And you'll learn more about that later on in the game. Not in this particular demo, though. They haven't implemented it yet. Okay, so now, before we go up, we need to go up here. We'll jump across, climb up. Climb up over here, jump across, and there's something we can harvest here. Okay, and then you can go around here and jump down one way and make it all the way around, or you can just backtrack. And the character pathfinding has been pretty good so far. I'm comparing it to Baldur's Gate 3, which was trash. I don't think I'm going to be complaining very much about the character pathing in this one compared to how I did it every week in Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, so far it seems like it's okay. Okay, so we've gotten some updates here. We still haven't found Jabori, and we haven't found the Fisher folk yet. And we have a quest here, a new one, to learn if the kobolds are related to the current troubles. We learned about the kobolds from Ellie, and we saw a dead one there. The crabs were munching on it.
We're getting closer.
Okay, so we'll jump over here first. Jump back, because that's one way, and we'll climb up over here. And we get the stealth tutorial. Now, we've talked about this. It basically allows you to move slowly and cautiously. However, what it also does is allows you an increased chance to spot traps and discover hidden objects. This is something that's in tabletop, where if you're moving cautiously, you move slower, but you have more time to look around. It's especially useful for when you send your rogue out in front and they're trying to find traps and that sort of stuff. They just put out a new post on their website talking about this mechanic a little more and about hidden traps and that sort of stuff and how they work. It's a really cool mechanic, and I like it. It's similar-ish to how the discover trap or find hidden objects things works in Baldur's Gate 3, but it is slightly different. And there's the noise rings that I talked about. Whenever foes are inside a noise ring, they start detecting your heroes. And that is, again, homebrew. This would be a generic stealth check. And your stealth would be based upon your type of armor that you're wearing and whether your proficiency in stealth, and your noise would be an effect of that. And this makes it a discernible area here, which makes it easier in a video game to know how close or how far you can get away from an enemy. And then you have detection gauges. So when that noise ring overlaps an enemy, your detection gauge is going to start filling up, and that allows you to move back outside of range and reset it. Mostly your stealth skill and the enemy's perception skill are going to determine how fast this fills up. So if you have a low stealth skill, they have high perception, it may happen almost instantly. Vice versa, you may have more time to move away from them. And again, this is a purely homebrew thing, because the noise isn't really a 5e mechanic in 2014. Anyway, 2024 is a little bit different, but... And I'm going to immediately go into cautious mode over here. And I'm going to move up here slowly.
I think we found Jabori.
Who feels like a little chat with the critters?
Waste of time. Let's smash their skulls up.
We could tell them we're part of their dragon cult.
Even a kobold won't believe you.
We need proof.
I could sneak by and take some of those dragon scales. Make it look like we belong?
Huh. If you pull that off, your next drink is on me.
Deal.
So now our objective updates to save Jabori, and we're going to split our party here. We're going to take our rogue, because the scales are right there. She's got the smallest detection ring. And here's the tutorial about splitting the party that we already learned about. And you can see the enemies, okay, that are out here. Right now, none of them are aware of us, and we want to keep it that way.
Good to go.
All right, people. Let's do this.
And I'm going to move back up here. Now, the scales, I'm going to move these to somebody who has higher charisma. So she's got a +2 to charisma. Nut has +2, +1, and +3 for Juralis. So I'm going to move these to Juralis. Okay. And that's because there's going to be a specific dialogue that's going to let us use the dragon scale as an option during this conversation, and whoever has the scale is going to be the person who has the dialogue option to try and convince them. And since Juralis has the higher charisma, I want that on him to give the option to him as opposed to Daisy. Now, it doesn't matter who starts the conversation. Everybody's going to be in the conversation. It's just going to determine who has the option to use the scales to try and convince them.
Hey! Who in the name of our mighty Obsidian Majesty are you lot? Spill the beans! Or we'll
Okay,
feed you
so
to
it
a
actually
match.
left it on her. Because she was the one that picked it up. I thought it was whoever was carrying it, but it must not have been. It must not have been whoever picked it up. So she has advantage on deception checks anyway. So I'm going to try and make it with her. But otherwise, if it fails, I'm still going to have some choices here.
We are worshippers of the Black
Oh,
Dragon.
jeez.
It granted us a gift, proof of its trust, a scale of its dark body.
A sacred scale of Her Majesty? Don't believe.
Okay, so I rolled a 7 with advantage, which was horrible. So now I've only got a 55% chance to make this work. This is actually a really important choice here, so I need to hope I get lucky.
Perhaps we can help each other. We're looking for the cause of the tremors and a lost associate.
Likely story. Don't know nothing about a Socuade. How we know you're not working with this stone face here?
If we were, we would have killed you by now. No need to announce ourselves.
I suppose so. Tell you what, don't bother us. We don't bother you. Understood?
You think your Obsidian Majesty has left, don't you? What if she doesn't come back?
Cool, she come back. She the Obsidian Mistiness. Bestest dragon in Neokos.
What will happen to this Siklas?
Mighty Obsidian Mistiness will eat him for her dinner. Probably calm her rage. At least for a day.
Oh, damn.
So he's calling her Obsidian Mistiness. Obsidian is black. It's a black dragon. We learned that the acid damage to the village was a black dragon. So this is the dragon that we're all talking about. Is the same black dragon that's been living under the city here.
Strange stone faces, you say? Strange sicklers?
Yeah, some strange-looking sicklers. Different, odd colour, not normal. Had to fight, made it clear what they want ain't here. They capture some kobolds, walked out the caves at low tide, disappeared.
Now you haven't learned about what a Cyclus is. This is a species in the 5e rule set. We're going to learn more about him here in a little bit.
What's going on here? What's the Siklas done?
Loads of rumbles in the ground. Mighty Obsidian Mistiness gets all angsty. Her head got broke by one of them tremors. Strange stone faces turn up. Big fight. Doesn't take a Zarka's all brain to work it out. Do it!
We need to go. We'll talk again, for sure.
Shut up! Enough with the questions.
Okay, Now, it is really important that you pass that check for something that happens later on. But for now, let's go talk to Jabori up here. Okay, so we've already talked to Nash the Mighty here. We've already looted the scales. There is something here. I don't think I've ever looked at this, honestly. Oh, yeah, I don't think we can search this. Yeah, because it's underwater again. To say, I didn't remember searching that, and that's because I can't. Let's go up here and talk to Jabori.
Hey there. Are you Jabori?
I am. Who are you?
Friends of Ellie Sharpreef. She told us about you going missing.
Stone at sea. Fortune smiles. Can you help me?
What's with the kobolds and the dragon?
They worship the dragon. That's all. Bring it offerings every year, nothing wrong with that. They never bothered me. Nor the villagers.
Until now. Ellie was right. Something's wrong here.
The kobolds think you're somehow responsible for breaking the dragon's eggs.
I don't have a death wish. The tremors broke the eggs, not me.
Do you know what causes the tremor?
I might. That's why I came down here, to check.
Won't you tell us?
Not as long as I'm a prisoner.
The kobolds seem to have had a fight with other Sicklers. That makes it difficult to get them to free you.
They have met with Kivuli. They are a corruption of my people. The kobolds are too stupid to make a difference between me and them.
Kivuli? What are they exactly?
Sicklas, who gave themselves to a cult.
You're holding out on us. Why?
Set me free first, then we'll talk.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we need to convince Nasher to free Jabori. And yeah, Ostamura, both and Kevs, yes, the voice acting is really good. I doubt we're going to find another Astarian here in this game, but I am interested to see how the full character list plays out. You can see some of the character voiceovers that are already being listed for the game and some of the actors behind them, and they're really, really good. So I'm expecting it to be a really well voice acted game. And hey, Megal, welcome. Will this be on PS5? Yeah, somebody asked that question earlier, and I don't have time to go look it up while I'm sitting here. I have a PC, and I don't really know. I haven't looked one way or another whether it's going to be on PS5. What I would recommend is if you go to Google and you search Solasta 2, it's going to bring up the game page, and it should be listed on there whether it is or not. I would expect at some point it probably is. The game is not too graphics intensive, and if Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be on console, then I would expect this one would be as well. Right now there isn't any indication of multiplayer that I've seen, but that it has been a topic of conversation on the forums quite a bit. So kind of waiting to see what Tactical Adventures decides to do with it. But for right now, again, it's kind of still up in the air a little bit. We're still, like I say, pre-alpha on this game, so not taking a whole lot for granted that it's set in stone. So I'm going to actually drop a save here.
We wish to parley.
Parsley? Don't know about parsley, but we can talks.
And there you go, Kevs. Thanks for looking that up. Like I say, I would. I'm just in the middle of doing this. But yeah, I would expect that it's going to be on the consoles. I really would. So here we got a 65% chance here.
This one isn't one of the bad sicklers.
Proves it!
Remember when the other strange sicklers attacked you?
You said it yourself. They were not normal. This one is a normal sickless.
Oh, what?
He hates the strange sicklers too. He wanted to stop them.
We'll go with him and kill the bad Sicklas. They won't bother you anymore.
Okay, let that stone face go. These peeps gonna stop the shakes. Stop the nasty stone heads.
Well done. I can't believe you convinced these creatures to let me go.
Don't mention it. Now, we'd appreciate it if you could tell us what's going on here. Do you know what's behind the tremors?
An unstable aether nexus.
A Nexus? That's a magic power source, isn't it?
That's what I would tell a child, but yes, that's it, more or less.
That's fine. We're children, more or less.
There's a Nexus here.
It's supposed to be hidden in an iridu, and I'm its protector.
A what?
Iridu is a Sicklas word for, well, you may call it a temple, but it's not dedicated to a deity.
Can you stabilize it? It would probably help with everything. The dragon, the kobolds.
The fisherfolk falling to their death.
Help me find my bag and come with me. I know how to fix the Nexus.
What do you know about those bad Sicklas?
The Kivuli, they gave themselves to their dark prophet, Shadwin.
That name rings a bell.
She is a powerful witch. Some of my people believe she's a goddess sent to restore the Sicklas Empire's ancient glory.
Typical.
Actually, Shadwin was the name of the first Fallen, but she was destroyed by the Cataclysm. She's a mythological figure.
This Shadwin enslaves our people, takes their soul and makes them corrupted. Powerful, but doomed. She craves the power of all Nexus. If the Kivuli are here, meddling with mine, she can't be far away.
No worries, Armegel. Appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, keep an eye out for it, and if you want to sign up for alerts and email updates about it, you can go to that same website and sign up for it if you'd like.
To sum it up, we need to find this Nexus and with your help, stabilize it.
A sound plan.
Wait a second. What if we can't? What if it's too dangerous?
The Nexus will eventually explode and destroy this place, Torwen, and all your friends over there.
Right.
Come on. Don't tell me you're afraid, sister.
Me? No. The dragon has left after all. What could possibly go wrong?
Enough chatting, kids. Let's go find this Nexus.
When I said we were children, it was a joke.
Okay, so we need to retrieve Jabori's belongings, and yes, I am fully aware that we're missing some health here. So let's go looking around a little bit.
What a pinky face doing here? Nasha let they walks.
We'll have to wait for the low tide if we want to go deeper into the cave.
Yes. Let's rest here until the tide goes out.
What
And
about
here's the
fisherfolk?
tutorial for resting.
Can we afford to wait that long?
That's right. Maybe we should search for them before taking a rest.
Okay, and this is giving you a hint that maybe you shouldn't take the long rest yet. Maybe you should go do something else, and there's a reason for that. A long rest is during travel or at a campsite in a location. Your party can take a long rest. This takes about 8 hours, and you need food. That's the food parcels. You have to have at least one for every party member, one ration per hero. If the long rest isn't interrupted, and that is critical, in tabletop we have something called rolling for environment. During a long rest, you roll normally a 1d10, but it depends on the DM and what kind of rule set they're using for it, to see if your long rest is going to, you roll a 1d20 to see if it's going to be interrupted. And then if it is, you roll a 1d10 to find out what you're interrupted by. And you can get random encounters while you're asleep. Monsters can roll up on you in the middle of the night. Or some environmental effect can happen, like you roll for weather and a blizzard comes in and you wake up and you're covered in a foot of snow. You know, that sort of stuff. The game is going to have long rest interruptions. They haven't talked a whole lot about it, but we're at least expecting character enemy encounters. Not expecting weather as much, but if there was, it'd be really, really cool. During long rest, you regain all your hit points and half the hit dice, as well as your spell slots and uses of his special abilities and powers. And again, it talks about the short rest that we've already learned. Okay, so we're going to go do something else before we take the rest here. And that something else is going to be over here around the corner. But first, let's take a look at some searching opportunities. Okay, so we have some food rations. We have another explosive pearl.
That is the Stony Faces stuff. You take it. It all stinky poop.
Okay, so we have a key to the temple. We have a scroll of bless. Just a regular dagger. And some more valuables. Okay, now we have something up here. We can climb up this little ladder to get. Okay, there's nowhere else to go up there. And we have another one here. And now we get to swimming. Okay, so there are crossable water areas. So if you're in direct control, then what you do is you come up to the area and you're going to get an icon that says press the spacebar to swim. And it will swim you across to the other side. If you're in point and click control, then you just click on the other side and your characters will automatically swim across. Okay. Now again, this is a homebrew thing, just because in tabletop you would tell them where you want to swim or how you want to swim and that sort of stuff, and your swimming would be dependent upon a bunch of other things like your strength, your armor type that you're wearing, your encumbrance, and all of that sort of stuff. Here they kind of just simplify it. Because you wouldn't be able to do that wearing plate armor. Okay, so now here... Okay, so you see we have a one-way up here. Can't get up there. And now Jabori is a member of our party, but not... He's an NPC that is part of our party. And the difference really is that Jabori doesn't show up in the list here. Okay? So what we get as far as his inventory is entirely based upon what he's wearing right now, and we can't change it. His actions, though, are available. We can still cast spells from him and that sort of stuff. But we can't pick any of his spell slots or items or any of that sort of stuff. Okay, and there's nowhere else to go out this way, so we'll make our way back. And again, go across here. And cross over. There is 3D to this, though my icon was probably clicking on something
look,
up there.
Up there. The fishing platforms.
That looks like a pretty bad fall.
If anyone survived, they should be over this way.
Okay, so sitting in here, we can go back this way first. Okay. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of strategically pre-place some of my characters. Now, this is something because I know how this encounter plays out. You don't have to do any of this. I'm going to, though, so I'm going to split my group and going to put Daisy up here. I'm going to put Jabori up here as well. Okay, and my sorcerer is also going to be up here. Okay, I'm going to take Nut and Nera. And Nera's going to go up here.
Did you see that?
And
Over there.
Nut is going to be here. Okay, now this updated, okay, to find the lost fisher folk, and they are in here. Okay, but first we need to open up the passage here.
A little bit of caution, please.
I have a bad...
And we rolled poorly on initiative. Okay, so he's moving, so I'm going to take the opportunity attack. Okay, so Nera's here. You can see we have a bunch of enemies down here. Okay, and it was all an ambush that was set up for us. So Jabori here, I'm going to start focusing on the clacker as much as I can. So, so for Nera, though, we also have a crab digger here, and we have another 2 down here. And I want to try and keep as many of these fishermen alive as I can. They are incredibly stupid. They actively are trying to get killed. But I want to move Nera over here to try and help this out a little bit. And she missed. So with her bonus action, though, I'm going to cast Shield of Faith. Okay, so for Jabori here, to cast a spell here, we have blindness. We also have color spray. It's doing the same thing. Blindness is one enemy. Color spray is in a cone in front of it, and you can see the cone effect. This is actually really cool. I like this compared to what was in BG3. Spare the Dying is a cantrip, which we hopefully won't learn about, but I think we're going to here pretty quick, because I think we're probably going to get torn up here. And then we have Scorching Ray. So Scorching Ray is going to have disadvantage on a target this close, and targets that are far away when we're in melee range, we're still going to have disadvantage on this. So it's probably best if I try and get blindness to land, but color spray is What's the save? 2d10 hit points of creatures affected per spell slot over level 1. So he's got... That's 4... Yeah, so I could color spray him. Up to 6d10 hit points of creatures are affected, are blinded until the end of your next turn. So this would allow me to do a couple of things. One, why didn't he get blinded? Oh, he rolls a pool of 23 hit points. So I didn't roll high enough. So I would like to take the attack of opportunity here, I think. I was hoping that the clacker wouldn't roll that high in initiative and that I could move Nut back here and keep the clacker from engaging this group up here. But the clacker rolled high in initiative and we rolled horrible in initiative. So kind of got hosed on that. So there's not a whole lot I can do with Jabari now. And again, we're in the same situation with our spells, but what I might be able to do is get rid of these two. Okay, so I got some horrible rolls. So let's see if we can eliminate, and this is Quicken Spell, a sorcerer meta ability. I can't see them. What I was worried about. But I am gonna let all 3 of those land, get some damage on them. Okay, so for me here, I need to definitely go in with Divine Favor. And let's see if we can get the Crab Digger here done.
You never stood a chance.
Okay. And we'll take the attack of opportunity here. Because we got a 24 armor class. To get Nut moving up here. Okay, now for Daisy, since the Crab Clacker is engaged in melee combat, Daisy can move up here, and if she lands this, she's going to get sneak attack. She did, so she's going to get an additional 2d6 sneak attack damage.
Bleed!
And look at that. Rolled really well on those rolls. I love the 18 there. Nice. So that takes that out, which is good. So now, hopefully, these 3 are... I know this one's probably going to do range to get somebody up here, but that helps eliminate that quite a bit. And I can start moving Nut back up here after the next round. No, don't go over there. Moves right in the middle of both of them. Like I say, they just try and get killed. Oh, attack him all you want. Roll the crit. Okay, so for Nayra here, I think this guy's just dead. No. Oh, yeah, don't have any main actions. Second wind is for her. Perfectly fine with you attacking him all day long. Okay, now for Gabori. That's 3/4 cover from there, so let's see if we can... What's the hit here? He's out of sight from there. Oh, that's horrible. Yep. Out of sight. So... He's got 1 hit point left. Ostamura, thank you very much. You didn't have to do that. I really do very much appreciate it. Thank you very much for the support, as you've always shown. I certainly do appreciate you. Thank you very much. So I'm going to move Jabori down here. Start moving him this way a little bit as well. Duralis. This should get him attacks on... everybody. That is a good spot.
You're laughing now.
Wow, look at those rolls. I rolled a 4, a 5, and a 6. That's beauty. Okay, that was lucky. That was lucky. Okay, so let's see if we can end this one.
I win this one!
And I don't know if it's going to be worthwhile to try and get him... There's that camera reset again. Back there. Into melee range down there. I think I'm better off trying to move my spellcasters down there. See if he can soak up this damage here. Oh, he's dead. Oh, he made it. He rolled low. So for Daisy to get up here, that's half cover for both of them. As disadvantage because it's too far, I think.
A good kill, as they say.
Okay, and let's bonus action dash here. Okay, yeah, good. I'll take that.
Keep them coming!
Okay, so let's move down here. What is 13 and 11? Doesn't really matter. So a 45% chance. And again, a 45% chance. Perfect. Okay, so Jabori, what am I going to get here? If I move him here, that's half cover and full cover, or half cover and no cover.
so much better.
Okay, so again, 2, a 3, and a 13. Jeez. Wow. These are some pretty good rolls, everybody.
That's the way.
All right. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a death here. One of these two is going to die. Yep. So let's bonus action dash with Daisy. If I get up here, I can't see anybody. If I get here, neither one of them have cover. I can attack the one in the back. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if I hit, it's gonna get sneak attack damage. Nope. God, boy, look at all these. The rolls have not been in my favor here. Let's move up here. Let's first of all... Oh, she doesn't have healing word. That's right. Oof.
What?
I just can't roll over a 10. I just can't do it. So no cover there. Which one is this? I wish I could see. This is something else I've also mentioned to them. I don't know which one's which. Okay, that's this one here. So Kyre is back here. So Kyre's the one that you kind of need to stay alive in this. But I have Cure Wounds here. I can't reach him. Just barely can't. So it looks like if I'm in a choice, roll a 3. Well, I can't miss with Magic Missile. So this other fisherman's probably gonna die. Yep. Doesn't really matter what Nut does here, because even ranged, oh, still got a 50% chance with a javelin.
What
and
are
of
you
course,
doing?
Can't roll a 10.
Thank you so much, friends.
Don't mention it.
Now remember, we picked up Kyre's brooch. It's the one that gave us a plus 1d4 to initiative rolls. This gives us the opportunity to give it back. In the full game, this is probably going to mean something. It's probably going to give you a reputation boost or something like that, or something else. In the demo, it doesn't really do anything. I'm still going to give it back. I'll sacrifice the initiative roll.
We found this up there. Does it belong to one of you?
Oh, thank Aaron. It's mine, a very precious heirloom. Jabori, you're here. It's good to see you.
May the land hold you in its embrace.
We're lucky you came to the rescue. We've been repelling crabs for hours, but we were almost exhausted. They would have eaten us.
Well, you should go back home. Through those caves. Beware of kobolds, though.
We will. Thanks again. And see you up there. Drinks are on me.
Okay, so we do have some stuff that we can pick up here. Got just a regular dagger. And then down here, roll of bless, potion of greater healing. And we have clamshells, which are just valuable items. We have 2 deaths here laid on top of each other. Okay, and now we can go back and take our long rest. That's why the game kind of told you, don't take a long rest yet. You might have something else that you want to use your hit points for.
I don't think those fisherfolk could have survived another night on their own.
Can you imagine what the crabs we've done to them? A crunching sound comes to mind.
Okay, so now we're going to go over here and we're going to take our rest. Okay, so here you can see Nut had 3 of the food rations and Nayra had 1, so they don't have to be equally distributed. You can just keep them all on one person if you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and again, we're going to get all of our hit points back. You can see that all we lost was food rations, but we recovered all of our spell points, spell slots, all that sort of stuff. So now we're fully rest up, and now you can see that the water's gone out here. Okay, now there are a bunch of different ways to maneuver around here. This was all underwater previously, but it just leads you back into Nasher's camp. There's a few things like that. And we have 2 ways to go, up here or over here. And we get a tutorial about light. Now, light is a thing, much more in this than it was in Baldur's Gate 3. Your party is automatically going to use something to light things up. But light here is also going to be a detriment to finding hidden traps and items and that sort of stuff. So light has a much different use here, kind of, than it didn't, but also it impacts your stealth. Light, when you enter cautious mode, it's automatically going to turn off their light sources. So you'll see it automatically turns it off, and then he will automatically turn it back on again.
That was the first time I met kobolds. That was interesting.
Okay, and I thought, yeah, that was that chest we've unlocked. I was just making sure, because again, the chests are kind of, the icons are kind of broken. So up here, There's a ladder. Takes us down, and we can continue looking around. And this is the Kobold's chest key that we picked up earlier. Okay, so another one of those explosive pearls and a scroll of shatter. Again, very, very useful. There's a ladder here. And we can move up top. So I need to take a 1-minute break here because I need to use the facilities real quick. So let me just set a timer for a 1-minute break and I'll be right back. And alright, we're back. Sorry about that. I don't normally have to take a lot of breaks. Okay, so let's continue doing a little exploring. And again, this way over here is another way back into Nasher's camp.
It's too quiet.
Okay. So out here we have another way we can go over here. Hop over that barricade. Okay, and a potion of healing. Again, you can hop across here. Okay, and you can see our quest updated. You found an old sickless door in the midst of the caves that seemed to lead somewhere deeper. That's a door here. Can't really see it very well. But that door and another one we're going to find both lead us into the same spot. Doesn't matter which way you go. So let's do a little more exploring. How did I... Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's right here. Okay, so we passed a perception check there, and that highlighted this. Which is going to get us some more throwing daggers and some more pearls. And then here is another door. Okay, and that's the door that you're really looking for. The other one is kind of a hidden door, so to speak. And yeah, you can't. That way is down here. Now you see that's where we were just a second ago. Okay, so we'll make our way back and we'll head to that door. And we're going to get to the culmination of the demo. So this fight, it can take a bit. It's broken into 2 parts. So we'll probably be running a little long today, but that's not a problem. I don't think y'all are gonna object to that. Okay, and I'm gonna drop a save right outside here. Because this fight can go either really good or really bad. It's very schizophrenic. So we're going to use our key. And now we can enter. Okay, so in here, either way you enter through either one of those doors, either the really dark one or that one we just came into, it's going to take you down to the same place here.
Hold on.
We're getting close. What kind of place is this?
An iridu. My ancestors built it a long time ago. It's even older than the Manacallum ruin in the village. This room is called a Star Chamber.
We're not alone.
Are they sickless?
They are Shadwin's followers. Kivuli.
Okay, now I'm immediately going to go into cautious mode here. As we move into this place. And we'll kind of take stock of what this room looks like. So the room is basically broken into half. So we have this side over here, and again, ambush. So we already talked about this. We're going to get a stealth group check, and unaware enemies will have a chance to be surprised. They'll make a stealth check to determine the DC, and then the enemy's individual perception checks. Whoever fails it, they're going to be surprised. Okay. So basically broken in half. We've got this side over here with stairs that lead down. We have the exact opposite thing over here. Okay. And we have... where do they come from out here? I think they come from up here. There's another way in here for something that's going to happen a little bit later. Oh no, it's right here. It's this way. Where we'll get some reinforcements, so to speak. And then on each side, you've got these kind of upper platforms and that sort of stuff up here, which you can reach. You've got these lower platforms as well. They're kind of floating out here. Okay, and those platforms, if you remember the final fight in Baldur's Gate 3 against the Netherbrain, platforms that get marked for negation, every round this thing is going to highlight one of these platforms. And at the start of the next round, that platform will be destroyed. So it kind of is going to start to limit your movement around the battlefield, but through the second half of the fight, you're not really going to need a whole lot. Okay? So we're going to maneuver around this side. I can harvest this, doesn't really matter though. Because I'm not going to be, once I end this fight, the demo is going to quit. Okay. And I'm going to be here. Now, I'm going to break my group apart. So there's stairs here that lead down to this side. But normally the enemies are going to come up around this way. But I want to have kind of pre-positioned over here. I don't want to get too close here. Yeah, see, you can't get by this. So the only way for them to get up here and reach me is up this direction. I'm going to take him all the way back. And move him down here. And you see we have 4 Kavuli here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 ranged enemies and 2 melee enemies. These 2 are explosive. These 2 are ranged. They're hunters. So I want to get the rest of my party into cover as well. And I'm going to try something with my rogue. Okay, you have this passage that goes up here. Okay, now I can get my rogue up here, and she has enough range to be able to fire on this platform, and she'll have a big advantage in height, but moving across this can be problematic. Okay, so I made it. But you can see 91%, 65, 70, so she can shoot all the way down there from here. Okay? So the hunters are extraordinarily dangerous. You want to focus on them first. Their bow attacks really, really hit hard. Okay? So I'm going to start this out with her. Okay, it starts the ambush turn. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of action points or action economy here if I don't have to. Okay, so I want to use cantrips as much as I can throughout this fight. Okay, so good. Missed both of those. You see they get 2 attacks each turn. This is the next one. I'm not going to be able to kill him outright. But I want to cause enough damage. Because he's going to go next. Oh no, he's surprised. Okay. But since he's surprised, let's get some damage on the brute. I'll take sneak attack. Okay, so he exploded. So he's dead. So I killed him, which is good. Now I've got this other one, which I'm going to have to worry about. He's surprised as I skip his turn. Rallis, again, we're going to be focusing on cantrips. He's out of range. And that brute is surprised. To the Nera, let's see what chances we have to hit here. 80%, 80%. Okay, and now for me, he's going to come running this way, come up these steps to get to me this way. Let's see if we can get rid of this hunter. And I missed, of course I did. I need this to land. Oh. So now he's going to get 2 bow shots, and again, they tend to go after the casters, and they can one-shot Juralis if they hit both. One after Nera, one after Nera again. Okay. So Daisy, he's already gone. Let's get some damage here. Oh, perfect. That was amazing. Rolled a crit. Got the kill. Morales, let's see if we can get a kill here. Rolled a crit again. Okay, so that's getting him actually within range of everybody. Can I see him from up here? I can't. Can I see him here? No. I can't see him anywhere there, so let's move him back. Move Jabori up. There's no cover there. Perfect, and I hindered him, so he's got reduced movement speed. Daisy. Out of range there, and you see there's an icon. Crossing that is going to take a dexterity check for me to move back down there. And I still hit. here.
You should have fled.
Those Kavuli are terrifying.
Hey, look, the Nexus.
It's out of control.
I have to correct the mana flow. If I don't, it will explode and destroy us all.
Destroy?
God's teeth. More of them. And kobolds over there.
What kind of kobolds are those?
They are corrupted, like the Kivuli.
All right, everyone. Get ready. Hold the line. No need to tell us. We know what to do.
And there's the marked for negation. We rolled pretty well on initiative here. So all of your characters get immediately moved down to the platform in the middle here. So that's why it doesn't really matter where you're positioned at the end of the last round. Now, every round, the Nexus is going to take 20 hit points of damage. And you can spend an action to delay that explosion one turn, basically by giving it 20 health back. That's what Jabori meant by stabilizing the Nexus. So for the first couple of turns, you can use all of your abilities against the enemies out there and just let it reduce its hit points. But after that, you need to start trying to focus at least one person every turn to spend their action to delay the explosion here, or else you're going to get a game over. Okay? So now with Daisy, let's take a look. Let's, kind of look around the land a little bit. So we got kobolds over here, and we have a mauler. This is their melee based, and they're explosive as well. High hit point enemy. Then we have a brute, again explosive, melee based down here. And then at this end we have another mana weaver down here. Okay. Now we're going to get some reinforcements here in a little bit. So I'm not going to focus so much on that side. I believe, or no, it's this side. I'm not going to focus on as much because, like I say, we're going to get some help from there. So I'm not too worried about the kobolds either. They're really low hit point, so I'm not too worried about them. I am more worried about this brute here. So I'm going to get Daisy out here. So either way, that's cover for him. Well, let's use my bonus action, dash. That's not cover. Okay. And I'm actually going to move down here a little bit more. Jabori has an armor class of 15, and I've got an armor class of 14, so I guess it doesn't really matter one way or another. I have a higher dexterity, so if he explodes, because he's going to dash up here right next to all of us on his turn if I don't kill him. Oh, and where's the hunter at? That's who I should have been going after. So I made a mistake on that. I forgot about the hunter. So, Nera, let's cast... Yeah, the hunter's here. I don't think I'll be able to kill him. So I definitely want to cast a spell that I can concentrate on here. Okay, so I do have action surge, so let's go down here and see if I can get a guiding bolt on this hunter. Only a 40% chance. This is 60. Getting rid of the brute would be nice. We'll do that. See, that explosion is pretty harsh to deal with. So now let's move Juralis back here a little bit and see if I can get... So from there I can hit the hunter. And it doesn't look like the hunter... Oh yeah, he's got 3/4 cover there. Got 3/4 cover there. There. Can't zoom out very far to see him and the location. So what's the percent chance here? I think what we're going to do is just cast Magic Missile twice. Okay, now we'll use Quicken Spell to cast it again. Perfect. He's really, really dangerous. Okay, so here we can move him down here. Guess I can throw, yeah, it's so far away. He's at long range, that's why I've got disadvantage. Still disadvantage. Okay, I can't see him from there. Okay, so missed that attack. Not too worried about it though. And here we have some allies. But we also have some reinforcements. Okay, so for Jabori, I could blind all of the kobolds. For Scorching Ray would have a 55% chance to hit the Mauler. That's the Mauler. and the Mana Weaver, and we're not done. There are going to be more reinforcements for them coming in. I think I want to cast this here. Who's next? The Mana Weaver. Because the Mana Weaver is going to go after these kobolds here. And you saw Nashers come in. So he's going to be helping to plug up that side. So I'm not too worried about that side anymore. So yeah, I think I'll cast it here. Only hit one. Mana Weaver is probably going to go after them, and he went after Paralis. He almost one-shot him. Oof. Okay, these guys are going to go after him next turn. These are, so I'm not worried about it. Need to get rid of this mauler though. Okay. I'm going to move bonus action. It's cunning action dash here. Because I want to get over here. Okay, so let's just go and start laying some attacks down here. Oh, I rolled a 1. That's exactly what I needed. Critical miss. Nice. So I can create sorcery points here. Let's create another one out of my other level 1 spell. Get Divine Favor up, and you guys need to go after that Mana Weaver. He's going to dash up next to us. Hey, Mr. Solo, welcome. Good to see you again. You guys are not doing great over there. I need you to step up your game against that Mana Weaver. Okay, so now I'm going to use... 24. Was the Mauler... Okay, I'm planning out my actions here. Yeah, I think I'm going to use Jabori to... Well, let's see. I move here. So it's only color spraying him. Okay, so let's get rid of his reaction. I'll let Jabori take that hit, and he missed. Okay. So now he doesn't have a reaction now, so I can move away from him on this turn. All I want. Healing word. Might as well get some hit points back there. Oh, that would be really nice. Come on. Get some damage on him at least. Okay, good. Now he's probably gonna knock. There go all the attacks of opportunity. Get him one more time. Okay, good. He went after them. Okay, so I'm not really gonna have to worry about these guys very much. We can change to dual wielding here. And this splits up. You see your main attack is here, and then your bonus action would be your dagger +1. So if I kill him with the main hand attack, then I don't have to use my bonus attack. Oh, that's outstanding. Hey, these guys, one of them didn't move. This one hasn't taken his turn yet. But if he doesn't take his turn, he's dead on the next turn. So I think I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna hold my action. So Neyra here can move away and get out of the explosion radius. A 45% chance with that. Or 55 with this. Might as well go after the one that hasn't taken his action yet. Okay, and then Morales. I've got one more of each. I think I'm just going to take the explosion here. Okay, so they succeeded. They took a little bit of damage, but not much. But he's now gone. And he was the most dangerous one I was worried about. And he's dead. And then at the end of this turn, this whole platform's going to go away, and that kobold's going to die. Oh, rolled a 1. Okay, so Juralis, or no, Jabori. Let's delay the explosion again. Now, there goes that kobold. Now, hopefully, they're going to get a kill here. Oh, okay. Oh, he didn't go after the Mana Weaver. Okay, good. He got him with a reaction, with an attack of opportunity. I was like, oh no, this is bad. He's gonna go after Juralis. But he got an attack of opportunity and killed it. So we're probably gonna be a ways away for this. But let's move Daisy over here. It's the only... Where's this Mauler at? There he is. It's going to take him a while to get to us. So let's see if we can get Daisy to make a really long shot. Yeah, only 16%. Nope. Nera, where's that Mauler at? He's way up here. I doubt this can reach. It can't. So, yeah. So she's not going to do anything. She's just going to sit here and wait. Because now that this whole thing's gone, he's going to have to come around this side and up these stairs. So that's what I'm going to position myself for. Is coming around this side. Okay, so Juralis, I'm going to move him back here. Let's see if we can get shot. He's out of range with everything. Oh, he can hit here. 1 hit point. Oh, better than nothing. Okay, so I'm going to actually move him down here. I'm going to dash to get down here. Okay, he still has Divine Favor and Bless. Outstanding. Ooh. Wow. Okay, Jabori's going to delay the explosion again. Yeah, Mr. Solo, it does look really good. It's gonna be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. And now we're gonna move Daisy over here. See if she can get a shot. Nice. Okay, Nera, I'm just gonna wait. Don't think I have a shot. Oh, I do. It's 50% with the bow. Can't reach with that. Oh, nice. Another 3 points. Okay, and now... Not close enough. So let's try and hinder him. Perfect. I'm going to move him back up 1. He doesn't have any throwables left. they're going to be doing nothing up there. They're pretty well done. Okay, let's see if Daisy can do some work here. So a 65% chance if she hits, she's probably going to get the kill. There we go.
God's teeth. That was a close call.
It doesn't look like the Cavuli had any fear of destroying the Nexus.
Why should they? My servants are fearless. Death is as nothing to them or to me.
Who is this?
You should be the ones introducing yourselves. You who dare attempt to stand in my way. Is that fear I sense? Good. Now, let us see how well you fare when faced with true power.
And they left us with an amazing cliffhanger. That is one of the best big bad introductions that I've seen. I thought Ketheric taking the battle axe to the neck and to the chest a couple of times was a little better in Baldur's Gate 3. But the music on that and the ambiance and the slow-mo of her walking out was a really, really good introduction to her. So that is the end of the demo. As it says, Solasta 2 will be entering early access later on in 2025. We expect it's going to be somewhere around Thanksgiving, is kind of what we're expecting. The game is going to be in full release next year. We're expecting that is going to be somewhere the middle of the year next year. So we're probably a year, maybe a little less away, and this is all pure speculation on our part, about when the game's going to release. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm going to be looking at the comments here after this and all that sort of stuff to see how well this video does, as to whether or not I want to start up a Wednesday live stream where I play through Solasta Crown of the Magister, which is the first game in this series. It was released in 2021. I don't like starting out in sequels if I haven't played the first one. Now, you certainly can. That's not an indictment on anyone. It's just me personally. That's why I moved into Kingdom Come Deliverance before Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is already released, was played. That's going to be why I'm starting how I'm starting the next live stream that's going to start up in this time slot on Sunday 2 weeks from now. So I'm thinking about having that take place so that then in between now and maybe Thanksgiving or so, when early access releases, I will have played through the first game. And will be fully prepped and ready for early access in this one, and then moving right into the full release of this game. Yeah, Ostomer, I think it's going to be a really good game, and especially for me being a tabletop D&D nerd, this is a huge thing for me. I'm really anxious to see them with the 2024 5e rule set that they said they're going to use, as well as Xanathar's and Tasha's and the rule set expansions. I'm really excited for it. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, Stephen, like I say, the comments like that, please leave me a comment down below the video once it goes live here in a few minutes. If you want to see me play Solasta 1 or Solasta Crown of the Magister, and I'll consider doing that that as a live stream series. It would be Wednesday evenings, which I know is not ideal for my overseas viewers, but I don't have any other time slots on the weekend. I want to have some of my weekend available for me to do what I want, and since I do have a 50-hour-a-week job, my only time is going to be Wednesday after I get home from work. So we'll see what we can do, but please leave a comment. I really enjoy all the feedback from my community about that sort of stuff, so leave a comment and I'll see how it goes. So this is the place to end this live stream. This was a one-off. I wanted to do this to kind of preview an upcoming game, which I think is going to be really, really good, as well as if we do go into a Solasta Crown of the Magister playthrough, kind of a here's a reason why type of thing. So as always, thank you all for being here. The support that you guys all offer to the channel has always been amazing. I really appreciate all of my subscribers and my channel members. For those of you who are new, I've always said I don't ever ask for subscriptions or likes or memberships or any of that sort of stuff. That's not why I have this channel. I have this channel here to hopefully teach all of you more about how the game mechanics work so that you can be more successful and enjoy the game yourselves. But that being said, I am always thankful for those of you who do choose out of your own volition to do that. My community has always been great since I started this channel, and I cannot thank you enough for all of that. So, as I always say, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.